I didn't realize that I was grieving the person that I used to be. Kind of had like an ego death. Even if I'm having to start over, I still have to start. I've been paying homage to that girl because she set the foundation for this girl. Some days you have to throw that away. Like, throw out the to-do list, throw out the schedule. It's okay that you don't know what you're doing today, because I'm in a state physically, emotionally, mentally where I need rest. And rest is also productive. Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. If you're new here, my name is Sydney, and this is Lessons in Creativity. And one of my goals for this podcast was really to create a space where I felt like I could not only speak to the things that I'm learning along my creative journey, but also all of the human parts of this journey. There's so many how-tos, and there's so many, this is how I did this, and this is how to build that. And I'm not really trying to do that, essentially. Like, I think it's helpful to share tips on how to get there, how to build that for yourself, carving your own creative path. But I do think a huge part of the creative path is also figuring out yourself and figuring out who are you as a person to produce things that you put into the world. And for myself, something I have struggled with really, really bad throughout the past couple years, since the beginning of my creative journey, whether it was freelance or it was in a corporate environment, is consistency. And it's crazy because I think that maybe to other people, I'm doing great. Like, I think there's two sides to this, right? Like, I'm definitely the type of person that is very, very hard on herself. Like, I'm definitely the type of person that will be very, very hard on themselves, and I'm learning to unlearn that. But in the unlearning, it's still a messy process. So in today's episode, I didn't really even script this today. It's just true, open honesty, letting you guys know really this is hard. Like, I wish there was like a 10-step plan. Like, you do this, you do that, you do this, and like you're out of a creative rut. But that's just not how it works. So I've been saying that I've been in a creative rut, but I've actually been pretty sad and grieving. And coming to this conclusion happened in therapy. I had a session with my therapist about a week ago, and she asked me, like, how's work? How are things with your business and things like that? And I was just like, yeah, they're going good. It's fine, but I've been stuck, And I think when you pour a lot of your energy into one cup, there's other cups and buckets of your life that aren't as full. So I felt like I was doing really, really good in my corporate job and all of the things, but for myself and my own business and my own creative brand, I felt like I wasn't pouring into that, and I felt like I couldn't. I felt like I was just stuck mentally, and it had less to do with the job and more to do with the fact that I felt stuck, and I couldn't really shake where that was coming from. I couldn't really figure out, okay, why am I feeling this way? Why am I not able to just press send or to just edit that video or do whatever? And it's because this creative rut has been a manifestation of my grief, the grief that I have not been paying attention to or giving my energy to, because honestly, I think for me, grieving is something that I never really allowed myself to do. And one of the biggest parts of this too is like having to affirm yourself and like not gaslight myself into thinking that like I'm okay and I'm not actually going through the things that I'm going through. So I've had to sit down with that. So on the topic of grief, I kind of want to explain, like, it looks different for everyone, and there are different stages of it, right? I didn't realize that I was grieving the person that I used to be. Like, when I turned 24, I literally felt the change. Like, when they say your frontal lobe just develops and you're like an adult now, like, I felt like I was kind of going through the pre-version of that or something. But I felt like a part of me kind of had like an ego death. I just wasn't the same person. I looked at things differently. I feel like a lot of the logistical things about my life really came together for me, and I started managing my time better. I started planning more effectively and not putting so much on my plate. I started doing a lot of things to prep and prepare and create a foundation for myself, but still the emotion and the human that just wasn't being taken care of. And I realized, like, okay, that version of who I was, like, I have to pay homage to that girl before I can fully step into this and accept this. Like, and I've gone through something similar. I think about 2 years ago when I had a major breakup, and I wasn't creating much of anything. I think I created up until the breakup because I wanted to document who I was. Like, I truly didn't feel like myself. And then after it happened, I tried to present as this new person because I was a new person. But again, I hadn't given myself that space to grieve. Like the fact that I wasn't the same person that I was coming into the relationship as I was leaving it. So in this new era of grief, I think that's definitely a big part of it. Just accepting like time is flying. Like my perception of time isn't even the same anymore. And I'm just like, I when I think about it too much, I do get emotional because it's like I'm still in college. Like in my mind, in my body, I'm still in college. I'm still 18. I'm still 20, 22. Like pivotal years of my life where I was, figuring out who I was going to be in the real world. And, I was highly creative and I did so many things. Like over the last couple of weeks, I've been spending time just watching old videos and listening to the music I used to make. And, it's insane that people still reach out to me to this day about poems and music that is on SoundCloud. It's crazy. It's crazy. I might link some of it in the description box or the down below somewhere. But yeah, like I've been paying homage to that girl because she set the foundation for this girl right here. But in that, I'm realizing like the friends that she had, like me in 2018, circa 2018, those are not the friends that I have now. Even if it's the same relationships, it's not the same people. So I have to accept that as much as I've changed, the people around me have changed as well. And when I tell you, that has been just the craziest thing to conceptualize. Like I have reached out to people that I may not have spoken to in a few months or years, and I hit them up like it's just another day. It's just another day. Like, adulting, like we all know that we're living life, busy schedules, whatever, but it still felt like in my mind, like in my body, this was my friend. And having to realize the fact that and recognize the fact that time has passed and I've been so head down in this transformation that's happening right here. If you're listening to this, I'm pointing to like my heart, but like that's happening internally, that's very personal. And just realizing like the world has been moving and things have been changing around me and there's so much to rediscover now. So I'm working on that, grieving that. There are other people in present day that are just not a part of my life anymore. And I definitely think that I'm mentioning all of this because I feel like relationships and love are the two things that drive a lot of my creativity from the beginning. Like literally one of my most viral videos when I first started creating was to my ex-boyfriend, and that was me paying homage to a relationship that I wasn't even in yet. So, I think that love and relationships definitely influence a lot of my creativity, and to have it shift and to change in real time in my day-to-day is crazy to me. And I just haven't really been processing it. So I haven't then been able to create through it or create with it. Not only that, my familial relationships, like we're hitting all of them, like platonic, romantic, familial, like all of them are shifting and changing around me. And I think I'm having to really sit down and be like, wow, there's some real work to be done, like internally and externally. There are people that I feel the need to reach out to that I haven't in a while for good reason. And just like familial relationships that I feel like need mending. And it's really been a process to unpack all of that, and to do that alone, to do that in community, and to just do it period, while also being very present in just my day-to-day and maintaining. Like I still have to go to work, I still have to run my business, I still have to take care of myself and my cat, and I have things that very much so still need my attention in present day, but it feels like my mind and my body has not been in the present. So I say all that to say I've been in a deep creative rut. I'm struggling to say depression because I don't want to use that word lightly. I do think it has been a creative rut for me and a hard spot for me. And the process has looked like picking up a camera, putting it back down, filming a video, not editing it, or thinking of an idea and not doing anything with it. So we're definitely in a push and pull right now. And I'm just like, I'm really, whatever, I don't even know. I'm really trying to get a grasp on anything, because I literally feel like I'm just floating in the wind. But also, a thought that came to my mind today was that you really don't have to know what you're doing today. Like, you don't have to know. And it's crazy because I go into every single day with a plan. So for my planners, for my schedule girlies, for my Notion template girlies, like, some days you have to throw that away. Like, throw out the to-do list, throw out the schedule. It's okay that you don't know what you're doing today. I woke up today and I had no idea what I was going to do today, really. I wouldn't say I was going with the flow, but in a sense I kind of was. Like, I had to let go of this preconceived notion of productivity for me because I'm in a state physically, emotionally, mentally where I need rest. And rest is also productive. It's been really, really hard to just come back to self, and to also realize that every time I come back, every time I click this little camera on, like, I am going to be a different person, and that's okay. So it's been interesting. Very, very interesting to play this game of pushing and pulling and trying to come back to myself. And I have categorized it as like falling off because I look at like my YouTube channel and this platform that we're on right now, and I'm like, wow, like, this used to be my bread and butter. Like, this was where I put my heart, my soul, my everything into. And you know, if you're a creative person, then you can resonate with the fact that you will shift and change. And with that, your mediums will shift and change. Your platforms will shift and change. And I'm looking back at the views and the numbers. I'm like, where'd my community go? Like, damn, that's crazy. I'm like grieving that as well. Like, okay, well, I'm having to rebuild because the girl that was on here last was really, she's old news, like 2022. You know, we're just now restarting and rebuilding, and I'm having to get comfy with that and be okay with the fact that, hey, it's gonna look different. And while it's crickets, while nobody's really checking for me yet, hopefully yet, I'm gonna take this space and this time to really get to know Sydney, because no matter if one person is watching this or 1 million people are watching, like, I have to be so rooted in me that this still feels like Sydney, and this doesn't lose the humanness that made it so special. You know, I think about my favorite creators who have definitely taken their breaks, who have definitely sat back, realized, okay, the ship is not going where it's supposed to go. I'm gonna pivot. I'm gonna switch things up, and hopefully y'all rock with it. Right? And I feel like that's exactly where I'm at. Like, this girly that a lot of people have watched literally grow up on the internet. Like, you can scroll and see that I have grown up on the internet, but like, I'm literally changing and morphing publicly, but still steering the ship, still pivoting, still doing it anyways. I think it's the doing it anyways. Like, I don't want to say that I've fallen off, but if I've fallen off, I've fallen to land softly on something else. I am now in a new place, a new space, and I can decorate it however I want to decorate it, and I can do whatever I want to do because it's all new. Like, it's all new to me. So, you know, my process right now of getting out of this creative rut and not feeling stuck anymore has been reflection. One, reflecting on the old me, the old times, what is no longer, but what has also set the foundation for who I am right now. Acceptance, accepting that I am not that person. However, this person that I am and am becoming is amazing and is great too. Like, I'm not perfect, but we're worth something still. Like, this is enough, and I am enough right here. And then doing it anyways. I am doing it anyways, because even if I'm having to start over, I still have to start. So yeah, that's pretty much where I've been at mentally, emotionally. I really do, really do. Like, at this point, I'm gonna key you in on the secret. Like, at this point, none of the episodes have launched. I'm recording everything early. So my hope is that I see it through. That's all I want for myself. I just want to see it through, because then I'll be able to reflect and say, through the grief, through the processing and the figuring it out, through the lack of motivation and just overall feeling confused and discouraged, I still did it. I still did that. I'm definitely looking forward to more episodes. I'm looking forward to your feedback. I think at this point, the podcast is going to launch top of April. So we're going into the spring. We're going into this new season of just blossoming and becoming anew. Okay, my camera died, but we're going to keep it going and just kind of wrap this up. In this era of becoming anew, I really just want to embrace the process and push through when I can, and fall back and fall into resting when I can as well, because both are important. So thank you guys for watching and listening to this episode of Lessons in Creativity. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, all the great algorithmic things, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.